Start your engines and get ready to roll. Welcome to Driving Kicking, the ultimate podcast to accelerate your journey towards a UK driving licence. Join host Wendy Barker, a seasoned, approved driving instructor, as she helps you to unlock the secrets to securing your driving dream. Together, you can make sure you're fully prepared for whatever your driving test throws your way.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Drive and Kicking podcast, helping you on your journey to gain your UK driving licence. My name is Wendy, and make sure you stick around till the end where I will be giving away a special prize. On today's episode, I'll be sharing tips to help you on your driving journey, from applying for your provisional driving licence, preparing for your first driving lesson, finding a driving instructor, to starting your driving lessons. Let's get stuck in. You can apply for your provisional licence from the tender age of 15 years old and 9 months, and that will start when you're 17 years old. If you have a disability or a long-term health condition, you can get it to start from when you're 16 years old, and I will put links about this in the show notes to help you. You also must be able to read a number plate from at least 20 metres away and have been given permission to live in Great Britain for at least 185 days. Currently, the cost is £34 when you apply online. Alternatively, you can go to the post office and get a Form D1 application for a driving licence and send your application with a good old-fashioned cheque or postal order for £43. I didn't even know they still did postal orders, and I've got no idea where my chequebook is. Now, it's really important that you prepare for your driving lesson. I would recommend that you familiarise yourself with what we call the cockpit drill, and I will place a link in the description box for that. And that's just knowing what you need to do when you first get in the car and what the different controls are. Obviously, it is going to be different depending on which car you are going to be driving in, but it would be a good idea just to prepare yourself. I also recommend that you get the various driving books that you need. Check out the highway code. There's also a book called Know Your Traffic Signs. So those two books can be downloaded for free. I will include the links for you. A book that you will need to buy is called Driving the Essential Skills. Now, this is every driving instructor's Bible. It's what we teach from. And it's really important that you have this book. You're going to need it throughout your driving career. Once you've passed your test, you're out there on the road, it talks about what to do if you break down and so many other different scenarios. And in fact, when I trained to become a bus driver, I referred back to my driving essential skills because really it's the foundation of your driving. So once again, I will include the link for the Driving the Essential Skills book. It's really important. Now, you might want to start preparing for your theory test before you even jump in the car. Some people get the theory test done before they start lessons. There's different schools of thought about it. I would just say try and be as prepared as you can. There's no hurry to get the theory test done. Everybody learns differently. You might find that you learn better when you're actually in the car and you can relate the theory to the practical. As I say, everyone is different, but just to let you know that you can actually take your theory test before you even take a step into the car. Do bear in mind that once you've passed your theory test, you've got 2 years to pass your driving test. So, finding a driving instructor. Well, first question you need to ask yourself is, do you want to learn on a manual or automatic car? Now, nowadays, a lot of people are learning on automatic vehicles. Personally, I absolutely love to drive a manual car. For me, that feels like real driving. I love doing the gears and everything. And it just has such a different feel. But, you know, there are pros and cons to whether you learn on a manual or an automatic. If you do learn on a automatic, you just need to bear in mind that your driving license will not let you drive a manual car. So if further on down the line you decide that you want to drive a manual vehicle, you would have to take another driving test. You wouldn't need to redo your theory test, but you would need to you first of all need to learn to drive a manual vehicle. Once you conquer that, then you would need to take the driving test. Also, just bear in mind that actually electric cars don't have a gearbox, so automatics might actually be the norm going forward in the future. Only qualified or trainee driving instructors can legally charge you for lessons, so do bear that in mind. If you want to get referrals tend to be a really good way to find an instructor. So somebody who's already used an instructor, they can give you a really good review, but sometimes that's not always the case. So there is an ADI register, and what you can do, you can search on that register for a driving instructor in your area, and it will come up with somebody who is qualified. Alternatively, if you've found a driving instructor and you want to check that they're on the register, you can also check that register. But do bear in mind that that register is optional. So don't worry if you find a driving instructor and they're not on that register. If you want to actually check that they're a qualified instructor, then what you'd need to do is to actually contact the DVSA directly, give them their name and their ADI number if you have it, and they will be able to let you know that they are on the official register of driving instructors. And finally, do make sure that your instructor is displaying either a green badge or a pink badge. The green one means they are fully qualified, the pink badge means they are a licensed trainee. So you are ready to start your driving lessons. Now, what I would suggest is to have a trial lesson. There's nothing worse than committing yourself to a lot of lessons and you're not feeling comfortable with the instructor. So have a trial lesson, just do whatever the minimum amount is, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, and see how you feel with the instructor. Now, there's no minimum number of lessons that you must have or hours that you must practice your driving. But the DVSA website used to say, and it's quoted by a lot of driving instructors, that the average learner needs about 45 hours practice with an instructor, qualified instructor, and about 22 hours private practice. So altogether about 67 hours, something like that. The problem with that is that everybody learns at their own rate. So there really is no minimum amount of hours or maximum amount of hours. Some people it takes them hundreds of hours to master it, to be safe, to be confident. It's very different driving in London to it is driving in the country. So, there's so many different factors. But what I would say is that everybody learns at their own rate. I would recommend a minimum of 2 hours a week, and to be consistent. Make sure you've got the money, because what you don't want to do is to have 10 hours over the next couple of months and then run out of money and then leave it a year before you start again. The progress is going to be very, very slow, and you're going to waste a lot of money. So it's time for our prize draw, where you can win a free 30-minute online theory test coaching session, which is worth £15. To enter the competition, all you need to do is to type the answer to the question below this video in the YouTube channel. Are you ready for the question? A police officer asks to see your documents. You don't have them with you. How many days do you have to produce them at a police station? Is it A, 5 days, B, 7 days, C, 14 days, or D, 21 days? The winner will be drawn on the next podcast episode. Hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. We talked about how to get your provisional license, preparing you for your journey to be successful with different books and apps, taking the theory test before starting to drive, finding a driving instructor, manual versus automatic. We talked about a trial lesson, and finally, starting your lessons, being consistent, giving yourself grace, because everyone's different. On the next episode, I'll be giving you tips about the theory test. So please share, like and subscribe to the Be Free Driving School YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.
You've been listening to Driving Kicking, the ultimate podcast to accelerating your journey towards a UK driving licence. Join us next time for more valuable tips, tricks and insights from the world of driving. Driving Kicking, your ultimate companion on the road to driving excellence.